In the heart of World War II, one battle stood out for its sheer brutality and strategic importance. Stalingrad. From 1942 to 1943, this city on the Volga River became a meat grinder, a symbol of industrial warfare at its most devastating. The streets were reduced to rubble. Buildings became skeletal husks, and every shadow could hide an enemy. In this urban hellscape, a new kind of warfare took center stage, and a new kind of hero emerged. This is the story of Vasily Zaitsev, a simple shepherd from the Ural Mountains, who would become the most feared sniper of the war, a legend known to his enemies as the Ghost of Stalingrad. Before the war, Vasily Grigorievich Zaitsev was far from a soldier. Born in a small village, he learned to shoot at a young age, hunting deer and wolves with his grandfather. His grandfather taught him the art of patience, of understanding the land, and of making every single shot count. He learned to become one with his environment, to read the wind, and to predict the movements of his prey. These were skills honed not for war, but for survival. Little did he know, these very lessons would soon be tested in the deadliest hunting ground imaginable. When Germany invaded the Soviet Union, Zaitsev volunteered for the front line. Initially serving in the Soviet Navy, he requested a transfer to the infantry as the brutal Battle of Stalingrad began. He arrived in a city that was no longer a city, but a sprawling, smoking ruin. Life expectancy for a new soldier was often less than a day. The Germans had pushed the Soviets back to the banks of the Volga, and the fighting was block by block, room by room. It was here, in this claustrophobic labyrinth of destruction, that Zaitsev's unique talents truly began to shine. Armed with a standard-issue Mosin-Nagant rifle, Zaitsev began his work. But he wasn't just a good shot. He was a master of tactics and psychology. He understood that a sniper's true weapon wasn't just their rifle, but their mind. He developed what he called the sixes method, a tactic where a single sniper would cover a large area by moving between 3 different two-person positions, creating the illusion of a much larger sniper force. This sowed confusion and terror among the German ranks. They felt they were being watched from everywhere at once. His reputation grew with every kill. Stories of his incredible marksmanship spread like wildfire through the Soviet trenches, boosting morale when it was at its lowest. He wasn't just eliminating enemy soldiers. He was giving his comrades hope. For the Germans, he became a phantom, a whisper of death. In the ruins, Te Kadid, the Ghost of Stalingrad, fear was a palpable thing in the city, and Zaitsev wielded it with expert precision. He would wait for hours, sometimes days, perfectly still, just for the right moment. A glint of a helmet, a careless movement, a shadow out of place. That was all it took. Zaitsev's success was so profound that it became a major propaganda tool for the Soviet Union. His exploits were published in newspapers, turning him into a national hero. He was a symbol of the common man rising to defend the motherland. He even began training other snipers, establishing a full-fledged sniper school right there in the ruins of a factory. His students, nicknamed Zakata, or Little Hares, went on to have hundreds of confirmed kills themselves, multiplying his impact across the entire front. He taught them his philosophy. Wait for your enemy. Let him come to you. He is the hunter. You are the bait. Let him feel confident. Then strike. The German command couldn't ignore the devastating psychological and physical toll Zaitsev was taking. The presence of this one man was pinning down entire units and crippling their morale. According to Soviet sources, the Germans decided they needed to fight fire with fire. They reportedly dispatched their own top sniper, a Major Erwin Koenig, the head of the German sniper school in Berlin, for one specific mission: to hunt down and eliminate Vasily Zaitsev. What followed was the stuff of legend, one of the most famous and intense sniper duels in military history. The hunter became the hunted. For 3 days, these two masters of their craft stalked each other through the twisted metal and shattered concrete of It was a deadly game of cat and mouse, a battle of wits, patience, and sheer nerve. Koenig was a formidable opponent. Cunning and experienced, he laid clever traps, trying to bait Zaitsev into revealing his position. The duel took place in an area near the Red October factory, a no-man's land of rubble and debris. Zaitsev and his spotter Nikolai Kulikov spent days searching for their unseen adversary. They knew Koenig was there. They could feel it. They found a German helmet and a rifle. But it was a trap. Zaitsev knew his opponent was too smart for such an obvious mistake. He realized Koenig was watching that very spot, waiting for him to take the bait. The breakthrough came from careful observation. Zaitsev and Kulikov noticed a small piece of sheet metal in front of a German position. It seemed insignificant, but it was the clue they needed. Zaitsev suspected Koenig was hiding underneath it. To confirm, Kulikov slowly raised a decoy helmet on a stick. A single, precise shot rang out, punching a hole straight through the helmet. The trap was sprung. Koenig had revealed his position. But Zaitsev still didn't fire. He knew Koenig would assume he had missed and would wait to see if his target moved. The final act was a masterclass in deception. Kulikov screamed as if he'd been hit. Koenig, believing he had finally killed the Ghost of Stalingrad, made his fatal mistake. He cautiously raised his head from behind the sheet metal to confirm his kill. In that split second, Zaitsev, who had been waiting motionless for this exact moment, squeezed the trigger of his most negand. The duel was over. A single shot ended the reign of the German master. Later, when they recovered Koenig's body, they found his scope was a state-of-the-art piece of German engineering, far superior to Zaitsev's. It wasn't the equipment that won the day, it was the man behind the rifle. By the end of the Battle of Stalingrad, Zaitsev was credited with 242 confirmed kills, though the true number, including those made with his students, is estimated to be over 400. He was eventually injured by a mortar blast, which temporarily blinded him, but his sight was restored by a pioneering surgeon. He returned to the front and continued to serve until the end of the war, finishing with the rank of captain. After the war, Vasily Zaitsev lived a quiet life. He managed a factory in Kiev and was celebrated as a hero of the Soviet Union. His legacy, however, was anything but quiet. He became an immortal symbol of Soviet resilience, a testament to how one individual, with skill, patience, and unwavering determination, could change the course of a battle. He wasn't just a soldier. He was a hunter, a tactician, and a psychologist who turned the ruins of a dead city into his personal hunting ground. The legend of the shepherd boy, who became the Ghost of Stalingrad, will forever be remembered as one of the greatest snipers the world has ever seen. Thank you for watching. If you found this story as fascinating as I did, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next dive into history. Let me know in the comments what other historical figures you'd like to see covered. See you next time.